Hi everyone, my name is Darcy Cook. I'm the VP of Engineering and General Manager at JCA Technologies, and today I'm going to talk about the integration of robotics into autonomous agricultural machines. There's certainly been a wide deployment of autonomous technologies in a number of different industries, but agriculture has some unique market drivers that are forcing the deployment of these technologies in a much faster rate than a lot of different industries. And this is really to do with the growth of the population that needs to be fed, so higher food production is needed in the world, and the increase in urbanization that's reducing cropland and available skilled labor for working the land in farming applications. So these aren't new problems. They've been addressed the last 50 years really with a variety of different methods. One of these methods being the increase of the size of equipment, allowing for a single skilled operator to do more with the machinery. Another is the increase of chemical use for fertilizer and pesticide, which has increased yields very significantly over the last 50 years. And then a third method that's been used is the adoption of precision ag technology for more accurate and efficient farming methods. However, some of these are reaching the limits. The size of equipment really can't increase much more than it is today as we're reaching sizes that have mechanical complexities that will soon become difficult to overcome. And as well as the increase in use of chemicals that has resulted in higher yields has also driven sustainability challenges. And so as the world becomes more aware of these sustainability challenges, both for the land and for the population that are eating the food, there has been more regulation and a higher pressure to reduce chemical use. And so these methods that have been used in the last 50 years won't necessarily scale in the future as well. And this is where autonomous technology really comes into play. So the impact of autonomous in agriculture is quite significant as it can result in smaller machines and more of them driven from a single operator that's controlling a mission of a fleet of machines or a swarm of equipment. So rather than having one large piece of equipment, having many smaller pieces of equipment that can operate in a coordinated way. This allows for improved scalability of operations, as downtime isn't as significant with one of a fleet of machines versus one very large equipment, and allows for growth of farming operations in a more scalable way. But probably the most significant impact of autonomy in agriculture is reimagining equipment to be able to work in ways that were not possible with human operators on the equipment. And this really drives improved methods in sustainable farming, where going back to methods related to tillage and weeding rather than using chemical, or using more optimal use of chemical by having intelligent vision systems detecting weeds versus crop. And so these types of equipment are now possible with autonomous equipment, and allows for more sustainable and scalable farming methods. So over the last few years, people who have realized these pressures have been working on autonomous equipment to work through the main questions of, can it be done, meaning is the technology ready for autonomy, and does it have value? Is there an application where there's value in applying this autonomy? And there's been many early stage systems that have developed and demonstrated to really answer these questions in a variety of different applications, which of course will continue in new applications in the future. But generally, in certain applications, it has been proven that this can be done and it does have value. And it's really shifting the primary question for the industry towards, can these systems scale? So it's one thing to show and demonstrate these systems in low volume and having a team of engineers around the machine to make sure that it's working properly. It's entirely another thing to have robust and reliable and usable systems at a scale that can truly impact the agricultural industry. And so the focus now is really about making these scalable systems that can be produced in the hundreds and thousands of machines per year. So maybe I'll give a little bit of background of JCA and our path within this context. So JCA started in 2002, and we really focused on manufacturing initially of electrical and wire harnessing electronic systems, and then grew our technology towards agricultural implement controls. Focusing on providing advanced technology solutions to agricultural machine controls, which gave us exposure and working with our customers who are OEMs in a wide variety of different applications across all different areas of agriculture, applying advanced machine controls and connectivity solutions. And this resulted in our first autonomous project in 2016, where working through that project, we really had a realization of the types of technologies that are needed for autonomy, that are really an entirely, not an incremental change, but really a step change, and drawing a lot from the robotics industry. And over the last few years, we've integrated a lot of these advanced technologies into our technology platforms, resulting in our autonomous framework, which I'll talk about in a few slides. So this first project in 2016 that I mentioned was through one of our customers that we were working on precision ag applications with, Seedmaster, and the founder of Seedmaster had a vision for an autonomous power platform that can be used in a lot of different agricultural applications. And we worked with them to develop the initial electrical and software, electronics and software system for the machine, really going from a blank sheet of paper in 2016 to a demonstratable system in the summer of 2017 at an agricultural show in Canada. And through that process, again, we really realized that this wasn't just an incremental change from precision ag technologies, but really a step change to make this deployable and sustainable and scalable technology. And it's really drawing from three different technology paradigms. Off-highway mobile machine controls, which have been around for a long time, is a very mature industry, resulting in ECUs that do machine controls in a lot of different industries with really ruggedized controls. The focus within this industry is more on cost and robustness, as these are scaled systems in many millions of systems out in the world. Precision ag technologies, which have really come from GPS and GNSS systems, specifically applied to agriculture and resulted in some common functions such as variable rate control, auto steer functionality, and precision application. And so while these are fairly mature technologies as well, there's a lot of innovation that continues to happen in precision ag, mostly around connectivity and applying these multi-machine systems. Robotics has also been around for a while, but it's coming from different industries. It's really come from industrial robotics used in indoor and manufacturing applications, as well as there's been a lot of development in autonomous car applications. And special purpose research and low volume applications. And robotics really deals with advanced sensing systems, perception systems, precision control applications, and then dealing with highly complex technologies and high processing platforms that are needed for more advanced algorithms and for guidance and navigation type of applications. So applying these into the agricultural autonomy system results in a number of different challenges. So at JCA, we've worked on several different autonomous projects, and we realized some of these challenges. This certainly isn't an exhaustive list, but just a list of some of the major challenges, which is there's lack of ruggedized processing platforms in the mobile machine industry that can really handle the processing levels that were needed for robotics technology and integration also with real-time controls, but having a platform that can survive the tough environments that you see in off-highway equipment. There's also a different level of complexity that's applied in robotics that really hasn't been seen in off-highway controls and precision ag technology, where architectures consist of components that have specialized functions. And in robotics, there's more of a need to integrate and pass data between several different components within the system. So there's entirely different architectures and different software that's needed to manage this complexity and an integration of hardware, different components into integrated hardware components. Also, there's challenges with perception and safety, specifically to agriculture that's unique. Some ways to off-highway equipment, and some ways specifically to agriculture. And this is because of the highly varied environments, the different type of goals that are needed for perception systems, lack of available data to use, certainly sensors and the types of sensors, although this is an evolving area that's growing quickly, and then merging in functional safety, which is really more or less a mature idea within mobile machine controls, but merging that with the complex systems that are needed in autonomous equipment. So through all of realizing these challenges, and through our experience of working with a lot of different autonomous machines, we saw that there was a need to both bridge these gaps from the robotics industry into the mobile machines, and that OEMs who were attempting to do this were reinventing the wheel and solving the same problems again and again. And so at JCA, we developed our autonomous framework, which really addresses both of these needs. It's considering a whole bunch of different subsystems, such as perception, guidance, mission management, and applying a platform that OEMs can build unique autonomous systems on top of. And so this really reduces the complexity and the development effort for OEMs to develop their autonomous machines, because there's a number of hardware and software components and systems that provide a platform on which to build these autonomous machines. And these technologies really developed with scalability in mind, so not just for a prototype system, but for a deployed system in volume. So I'll highlight a few different technology pieces within the autonomous framework. It consists again of hardware and software libraries across all these different subsystems that I mentioned, and it really it's not just a list of components, but rather they work as an integrated system. One of the technologies that's applied from the robotics industry is software systems and the use of ROS. So ROS is a robot operating system. It's really becoming the standard within robotics and within autonomous machines, as it provides a huge amount of benefit and has a huge amount of open source libraries that can be used to solve a lot of the common problems. However, because it's developed for different industries, there's some gaps in to bring over to mobile machines, and that's where we've invested in our technology to address these gaps with high-end processing platforms that can work in ruggedized environments and interface with advanced sensors and run advanced algorithms, as well as interfacing to over J1939 to machine controls and real-time system, and having a safety architecture that considers the complex technologies, but applies a functional safety standards with an overall safety supervisor and alarm management system that really integrates the functional safety into these autonomous machine applications. One of these key technologies that we've applied is with that processing platform that I talked about, our Eagle. It really brings in the ability to perform that high-end processing capabilities with an environmentally rugged platform that also can interface with cameras for vision systems, LiDAR, radar, and has integrated dual RTK GPS for guidance, navigation, and communication interfaces that are needed for autonomy. So it's a main autonomy platform processing, which is a new class of ruggedized processing platforms within mobile machines. We've also done a lot of R&D in perception systems for obstacle detection, detecting the difference between ground and objects, and then applying those to traversability maps for obstacle detection, as well as a platform to build on for machine learning and object recognition applications. So in summary, the autonomous industry is really being driven by this fundamental need to produce more food for the growing population, and because of the challenges of the methods that have been used in the past, there's really new methods that are needed, and this is really fueling a fast adoption of autonomous technology within agricultural applications specifically, but the real need is for robust and scalable systems. Technologies from the robotics industry are critical and needed to apply to autonomous technologies for agricultural and other off-highway applications, but they need to be adapted to the agricultural context. And this is really where JCA has developed our autonomous framework to bridge that gap between the robotics world and the mobile machine world with scalability in mind. So thanks everyone for their time. Again, my name is Darcy Cook with JCA Technologies. Thanks.